Kia ora, Danny again, and what I'm going to do now is show you how to trace a bitmap. In the previous tutorials we were looking at how we could draw things and draw around things using the pen tool, which is very important, but sometimes you might want to cheat a little bit and do a trace, so I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I'm going to go up to the File menu, I'll go File, Import. Now when I import this, it's going to ask me what I want to import. I've got a file on the desktop here called Danny Tiki, and I'm going to click that. And notice that it's a JPEG. Now JPEG means that it's a bitmap image or a pixel based image. So I'm going to go open on that, and don't worry about this too much at the moment. I'll just leave it on embed and I'll just go OK. And what happens is my Tiki comes in here, and for all intents and purposes it looks really good. But what I'm going to show you now is how it's actually brought through its white background. So to do that, I'm going to get the rectangle tool and I'm going to click that, drag it across. It's going to go over the top of it. So I've got this big blue rectangle now. There's a bit of recap. I'll go over to my select tool, select that object on the page, which it is, and go up to my icon here and lower the selection. So as you can see, the Tiki has come through and it's got the white background, which is not that useful for us. So one thing that we can do is trace this image. And that gives you a lot more options. So I'm going to zoom in, holding Control and the scroll wheel, and as I get in closer you'll probably start to notice that you can see the pixels. Okay, so that means as you expand this graphic it becomes less good in terms of its quality, not very useful to you. What you want is a vector version of that, like you would get if you use the pen tool. Okay, so what we've got to do, first things first, is I'll click off here to deselect everything. I'm now going to select this image and I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can see what's going on. It's still selected, by the way, so you don't need to worry about that. It stays selected. And I'm going to go up to this thing menu called Path, and then third one down is this thing called Trace Bitmap, and I'm going to click that and it brings up this kind of curious looking dialog box with a lot of stuff in it. Now I've found that the best thing to do if you get a good graphic with nice clear crisp edges, just leave it exactly as it is and just go OK. If I click that, can you see exactly what's happened there is it's made a rendition of that in vector. So I'll close this down, zoom out a little bit, and I'll move this out the way, and as you can see, I'll zoom in again. The edges of this are crisp and it's an SVG, and basically you can expand that up to the size of a wall and it's still going to stay really good quality. Let's have a look at how it did. Looks pretty good to me. I can see a little bit of an issue around here. It's a little bit more rounded, and I can see around here it's not quite as good in the definition. But if I no longer need this bitmap one, so I'll hit delete on that and I'll pop it on there, zoom back in again, and it's looking really good. And this means you can use it, and as we have been doing, you can take that through to a 3D program and extrude it and all sorts of things. So it makes it very useful. Obviously you'd get rid of the background and save as SVG. So just to recap, I'm going to do the whole thing again quite quickly. So it's File, Import, choose a bitmap, there it is, embed it in there or link it in there, it doesn't really matter with this particular one. Once you've done that, to the Path menu, Trace Bitmap, leave the options as they are in this instance because you're just doing a one color thing, hit OK, and you're done. It's so easy. Delete that away. So when you would use this is if you wanted to get something really quickly, and often you can go to the internet and search for images that are copyright free that you can do that with. So I've got a couple here. I'm not sure about the copyright on these, so you've got to be really careful that you get the right images. But as you can see, the sorts of images that you're going to look at are these nice, clear, crisp, black and white ones. Okay, something like that would be really good. Something like this would not be very good at all. Okay, so once you've downloaded that, give it a go and see how you get on. But it's a very useful little technique.